Hello everyone, welcome to Sunday Catch Up. My name's Adam Holmes. I'm a songwriter from Edinburgh in Scotland. I've been making records for the last 13 years. I've made dozens of records, produced dozens of records. I've coached hundreds of people. I've built 300,000 followers. I've won awards for my songwriting. I've performed on the television. I've performed on the radio. I've built a coaching practice. I've built a network of self-organised gigs in the UK. And I'm telling you this to gain a little bit of your trust. So you might think that this 20-minute lesson could be worth some of your time. Over the last week, I was down in Yorkshire helping my friend Sarah finish a record. We're working on that. We've been working on it for a year. We're going to work on it for another year. It's a total delight to have that amount of time because so many projects I work on, I'm just getting people results as quickly as possible often. So it feels amazing to have a long period of time to really just dive in and get involved and also just take the time, take the space to really make something great. Because greatness comes from authenticity, and authenticity comes from enough time and space to develop the value systems that really matter to someone. So it's been really interesting to watch Sarah find her voice within the process. And often the way we find our voice is we try things, they don't feel 100% authentic, and then we try something else. So giving the space, giving the time for that to happen. So I've been down there, I was helping Sarah with some songwriting. I came back up to Scotland and I had a big show last night in Edinburgh, which was getting filmed. It's going out as an online concert and I feel really proud of myself for how that went. It was a lot of work, it was a lot of preparation, it was a lot of planning, but we did it and it went great. And I'm really excited to now send that out to the people who bought the tickets for the online show. I want to speak today about when it's hard. How do we cope when it's hard? How do we keep going and stay aligned with our values when it's hard, when we're experiencing a challenging time in our personal life? This is my experience across the last couple of weeks. I've had some challenging things going on in my personal life, but I've managed to live with integrity and live within my value system alongside that and create the results that I said I was going to create for myself. I think there's something beautiful about living in relationship with yourself. My past self decided it was a good idea to do this, and so I did this. My past self decided it was a great idea for me to do that, so I did that. There's something powerful about that relationship that you can have with yourself across time. I want to define what hard is. I don't think hard is experiencing sadness, experiencing fear, and giving into and not living alongside your values. I'm not saying that's easy, but what I'm saying is that within my frame, within my reference, and what I'm going to explore with you today, I want to define hard as experiencing sadness, experiencing fear, and living with integrity and living within your value system alongside it, and still creating those results that can make you feel proud of yourself. Because if you're going to be in a tunnel, you might as well get some amazing results for your life. So I want to share 10 things that have helped me to live like that and helped me to do that. Now the first 5 are a kind of level 1. The second 5, the last 5, are a level 2. And there's a bridge between those two, and that bridge is therapy, and I'll talk about that. These first 5 are more, I guess, surface level in a sense, and the second 5 are deeper, maybe advanced level techniques. The first thing that can help me improve my attitude when it's hard is to think about my attitude like my clothes. There's an amazing saying that I'm sure you've heard. People will say, there's no such thing as bad weather, only the wrong clothes. Now, I think this is true of life. I think there's no such thing as a bad situation. only the wrong attitude. Yesterday, I was on the train was packed. There was nowhere to sit. There was everyone standing. And it's an interesting moment to view people's character, people's attitude within that moment. Some people are complaining and moaning, oh God, this shouldn't be like this. Some people were cracking out the beers and, hey, how are you? Getting to know people, right? So it was a really interesting insight into how an attitude shapes a moment. Now that's a surface level example. And I know what you're thinking maybe is, well, how do you have a good attitude if you're losing a parent? How do you have a good attitude if you're going through something more chronic and more intense? And we'll get to that. But as I said, this first section is really just things that can help you on a kind of surface level. The second thing that helps me is just to think I am a human. Just to give myself that grace. Just to be imperfect. Just to think when I'm going through a hard time, I wasn't designed by whatever it was that designed me. Did not design me to be perfect. Whatever it was that designed me to have flaws, designed me to at times be lazy, be selfish, be jealous, be unkind. I am a human. I'm not supposed to be perfect. I'm a human. I'm not supposed to look perfect. I'm a human. I'm not supposed to have perfect relationships. I'm not a robot. I'm a human. That one thought gives me a lot of peace. It gives me a lot of grace. I am a human. The third way I like to take care of myself is clothing. Literal clothing. Not attitude clothing, but actual clothing. Wearing nice clothes can make you feel different. I feel like putting on a nice pair of trousers after I've been wearing jogging bottoms can literally give me better mental health. It can literally elevate my mind state. It's an amazing thing. I feel sometimes when I dress well, it forces my mindset to come up. It drags me up to the same level as the clothing that I'm wearing. The fourth one, an obvious one, exercising. I work out every day. I can't remember the last time I didn't do something, even if it was just like 10 push-ups or a big walk or, just something to get the blood going, something to get your heart pumping and just shift your vibration, shift your cells around. A little bit of exercise every single day. It also gives you a sense of integrity. It gives you a sense of pride in yourself. If you're feeling sadness, feeling fear, and you manage to just do something, if you can start your day with some kind of exercise, it can really, really help. The fifth thing that helps me came from a guy that I met in the gym, and I said to him, we're catching up after a workout. He said, how's it going? I said, I'm stressed. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. Going to go and get my kid from school. I've got a big work meeting. I'm going to catch my girlfriend later for something to eat. And he said to me, your stressings are blessings. An amazing, amazing, simple phrase that just shifted my entire mindset of that day to think, yeah, it's a blessing. I've got a healthy kid. I've got a business that works. I've got a girlfriend who wants to see me. Those are blessings. So it helped me, that sentence helped me because any time that I was experiencing any stress, take this morning, for example, I could be feeling stressed. Oh God, I've got to do the Sunday catch up. Or I could think, 7 weeks ago, I had an idea to start a club online to share the ins and outs of being an artist, being a songwriter, being a creative individual. I had an idea to start a club for $1.50 and share my experience, share my life with the world. And I now have 450 people in there. That's not a stress, and that's a blessing. That's a responsibility. I have a responsibility to show up for this club and to give my heart to the club every single week. That's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. and I feel blessed. But that sentence helps me just flip the switch. My stressings are blessings. I'd like to move into level 2 now. This level is deeper, and I want to show that by giving the example of level 1, point 1 rather, of level 1 being therapy. The first point of level 2, level 2 is therapy. You need to have someone qualified to hold the space for you when things are really hard and you can't raise your vibration with your attitude, raise your vibration with clothing, raise your vibration with exercise. If that's not working, you need to be with someone who's qualified to coach your mindset, to change your brain into the understanding of how you can make your life better through therapy with a qualified individual. Guess what? You might love your mum, you might love your sister, you might love your brother, you might love your friend. You might even think they give great advice, and it might be true. But also, they are going to have some kind of agenda, even if that agenda is just that they want you to feel better, or they want to feel comfort as they're listening to you. You have to understand the difference between a qualified professional and a friend or a loved one. And you cannot go to Paris and look for a Danish pastry. You cannot go to Denmark and look for a croissant. If there is a doctor, that's someone who's qualified to give you medical advice about a broken bone, or your heart being a certain way, or your eyesight being a certain way. You go and see the optician, the dentist. If your tooth's sore, right? If you have a sore tooth, you don't go to your friend and say, hey, what do you think I should do about my sore tooth? They don't know. Even if they, with the best will in the world, you're giving them a job that they're not qualified for. So if you're experiencing sadness, experiencing fear, and you're stuck, you cannot get out of it, you need to see a therapist. You need to see someone who's qualified to give you the techniques and the understanding and the self-awareness to lift yourself out of that. If you have done that, these next things might help you. And these are things that I use as someone who's seen a therapist for 13 years. By the way, I owe all of my success, I owe all of my discipline and groundedness and integrity and abilities to sail through the hard times of life and still create amazing results. I owe that to therapy, personally. So these next tips come from that space. The second thing in level 2 is I think about myself as a grandfather. This gives me an amazing perspective when I'm struggling, when things are hard, when I'm experiencing sadness and experiencing fear. It gives me that opportunity to look at the big picture. When you go to a funeral, you get the most amazing view on someone's life because there's none of the drama, there's none of the noise, there's none of the nonsense, right? You're just looking at the arc of a life. This is a very kind way to look at your own life. When I think about Rosa's children, my daughter's children, talking about me, what will they say? They'll say, he was a songwriter. He came from, well, maybe they'll say this, I don't know. This is how I think though, and that's the important bit. He came from a chaotic background and he built an amazing life. He built successful businesses. He was a very present, loving father. Those are things that they could say about me. That in the moment when you're, God, I'll do the tax return. God, I'll need to get to this meeting. Oh, I need to make space to go to Rosa's nativity play. You're dealing with the minutiae of life. You're dealing with the ins and outs, and you forget to look at that big picture. I like to look at myself as a grandfather. I also like to look at gravestones. I go and walk in the graveyard up there. that will give you perspective on your human life. You will see a whole life reduced to, James Smith, stonemason, loved Edinburgh, 1892 to 1952 or whatever. Wow. Think of all his struggles, think of all his pain, think of all of his humanity and all of the suffering that he went through to reach that moment. There's peace in that moment, there's dignity in that moment. And you can give yourself that moment right now. You can reach into the future and look at your life right now and give yourself that grace, because you're just a human. You're just doing your best, and you're doing better than you think. The third thing I'll share with you in level 2 is tone of voice is life's melody. What do I mean by this? If I walk on stage and sit down and say, "Hey, how are you? How's it going, everyone?" That's a melody. People feel the emotion of that melody. If I sit down and say, "Good evening, guys. How are we doing? How's everyone feeling? Delighted to be here. Appreciate having you here." Same words. The melody changes, the emotion, the feeling of it. Now, I'm not recommending a toxic positivity at all. And that's why this is in level 2. You have to have worked on the therapy. You have to have built your sense of self to a point where it's then appropriate to use melody as a tool, as tone in your life. But once you have, and once you've built that foundation for yourself, tone of voice is life's melody. Try it. Next time you're with your long-term partner, "Hey, are you all right? Hey, how's it going? How's your sleep?" Now we bring this tone, we bring this melody, we sing this melody to all the new people in our life. But when your kid walks into the room in the morning and you haven't had much sleep and you've got meetings ahead, that's your opportunity to use tone of voice as life's melody. Because in that moment you could say, "Hello, how are you? How was your sleep?" And what day does that create for you? What day does that create for the people that you love? Versus, "Hey, hello, darling, how was your sleep? Did you have a good sleep? Did you have any dreams? Tell me about your dreams." And use that moment. That can literally change the whole day for your relationships in your life. The fourth thing in level 2, and it ties in, it's connected, because you can't be pulling this one out if you haven't done the therapeutic work. But what I want to say to you is, when someone asks, "How are you?" the correct answer is not, "All right, yeah, not bad." Not bad. I bought a coffee the other day. "Hey, how's it going?" "Yeah, not bad." Not bad. Think about that. There were millions and millions and millions and millions of things which had to occur so that you could have a shot at being here, just to experience life, experience the light, experience the rain, experience even the pain and the suffering of life. You have legs and you can walk. You have arms and you can write and sing. You have a voice. You have people around you. There's trees to look at. There's grass to look at. There's colors. And you're not bad. There's one correct answer. How are you? I'm good. I am good. And guess what? Of course, are you suffering? Of course you are. You're human. Of course you are. Am I suffering? Of course I am. That's life. That's the deal. You're here. You suffer. It feels hard. It feels hard to be here. But the correct answer when someone says, "How's it going?" I'm good. I am good. Because it's true. And the more you say it, the truer it becomes. Notice this is in level 2. I'm not saying if you're in level 1 and you've not done the therapy to cut about toxic positivity and pretend you're doing great when you're not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to love the suffering. You have to love all the colors. You have to love all of it. And the answer is, how are you? I'm good. I am good. The fifth and final thing I want to leave you with, I'm going to have to read off the page because I can't even read my own writing. Oh yeah, this is a good one, guys. The fifth and final point I want to leave you with is you are no one. You're nobody. I'm no one. I could have an ego. I could say, and look, I started this talk today. You know, I talk about the things I have done. That is literally what ego is. I talk about, I've done this, I've done that. We deal in ego as human beings. It's stories, right? We tell each other stories. My name is Dave, and I am an accountant. My name's Adam. I'm a singer. I have done this and this and this. I won this. Okay. That's the surface level, and we need that to communicate and express to one another who we are on a level, right? The broad picture. But reality is, when I'm suffering, really suffering in a negative way, it's because I think I'm someone. It's because my ego thinks that I'm someone that I'm not. Last night, when I play that gig, when I walk out in front of whatever it was, 150 people, I don't know. I'm another guy in the room. That's why I'm not suffering. I'm no one. Can I play guitar? Can I sing? Yes. Are people coming to see me? Of course not. Of course not. Are you sitting watching this because of me? Of course not. You're watching it because of you. You're watching it because you want to improve your life. You're watching it because there's some value in it you can apply to your life. People are coming to my gig last night because there's some value in the gig they can apply to their life. People watch my content because it inspires them. People watch my content on Instagram because they want to be entertained. I'm no one. Do I have skills? Do I have integrity? Do I have a sense of value on the skill sets that I've developed? I do. I feel good about it. I feel good about the person I am. I feel good about the things I can do. But also, I know I'm no one. And that gives me a tremendous amount of comfort, gives me a tremendous amount of peace, and it gives me a tremendous amount of confidence. Because I'm just here to be one little part of the equation. And I know what that is. And that's enough. In this lifetime, that's enough for me. Those are some things which help me when it's hard, when I'm struggling. They help me. I hope they help you too. If you enjoy this kind of content, please contribute the $1.50 to join the club. Because alongside, what do you think you're going to get out of the club? If you've got a lot out of this video, what do you think you're going to get out of the club? Out of being connected to me via the WhatsApp, out of additional content alongside this? There's a whole world inside of the club. There's 450 of us in there. And it's a whole universe of goodness that could really make 2025 the best year of your life for $1.50. Where else are you going to get anything worth anything for $1.50? Come and join us in the club. It's the best decision you'll ever make with $1.50, I guarantee it. Way better than buying a Mars bar or a Twix or half a bag of chips. Come join us in the club. Thanks for listening today. I'm going to go and drink a coffee and mix the sound for the gig that we did last night. That's going out as an online concert. And I hope you guys have a great week ahead. I invite you to really think about your attitude. I invite you to think about how you can use your attitude as a jacket to wear in the cold weather of life, and I wish you all the best with it. Cheers for watching today. See you in the next one.